things that are on here, and they have put so much paint on these things, I had to get a fine tip black magic marker and a magnifying glass to try and get this in here. There's so much paint, it filled in all the stuff. So they have it in metric on one side, and they have it in our language on the other side. You have a tare weight, which is the actual weight of the cylinder. You have a water capacity as to what this thing will hold if it's filled up with water, how many gallons. You have another little one on there. I don't know how important this thing is. It's called a DT, which is the dip tube that goes down into the tank. It tells you that it's 4.7 inches long. I don't know if that's how important that thing is. Now, one of the things too, you can actually figure out how much propane that you have in there by knowing that. You can take the if you have a scale, you can weigh you know that the tank weighs 25.8 pounds, so you can weigh it and then deduct and subtract that weight, and you know how many pounds of propane that you have in there. And if you went by the scale, and if it came to 11, and you say, well, I got 2.5 gallons in there. So that's one way. The other way to do that is they have all kinds of gauges and stuff like that you can get. This tank here, I actually screwed one on. You can put these gauges on there. Again, these gauges here are going to work correctly. They're going to go, if it's real hot out, they're going to show high up. They're picking up pressure. So if it's cold out, they're going to show, they're going to go down. This is just to show you, this is an add-on hose for an appliance. Just to show you that these tanks are still threaded on the inside for now. About 2 years ago, I was talking to a company that makes this Manchester, and they said within the next couple of years you're going to see them coming with smooth in here. No more threads on the inside. So all of these little add-on things you won't be able to use. You'll have to get one that has the new head on it. Which incidentally, I put a little note on here so I wouldn't forget. This is green. If you ever see these things black, they're not for RVs. If they're black. Green. And the black ones are for camping stoves and things like that. And they can affect your propane system. We had somebody put a hose on theirs. They brought it in. They were having all kinds of problems with the furnace and their water heater. And unfortunately, we had a tech that recognized what it was right off the bat. He took a look at it and says, "Well, you got that camper stove hose on there. You can't use it because it's not allowing enough gas to go through." So just make sure, if you ever have to change a hose, make sure it's green. Another thing too, when these things are mounted, they're supposed to be mounted this part of the tank facing the hitch, facing the tow bit, facing away. The reason for that is because this valve can't vent. So if it does vent, the gas is not, you have it in front, say you have a kitchen with a window in the front of your drink, you could have LP gas venting coming up in. So it's just pointed away. But yeah, the liquid, you don't want the liquid getting in to the camper, period. So even the 20-pound hose, or the 20-pounder, that lays on its side, that thing is valved so that it's not in the liquid, just the gas. Recertification. So if you find that your tank, if you take it to get it filled and somebody looks at it, which they're supposed to do, and look at the date and say, well, your date's expired, what do? Well, you have to take it to a place like AmeriGas or something. They can recertify the tank. They re-inspect it, and you can gain 5 years on it. But there's two things that you might see. They can call a tank rejected, or they can call it condemned. If it's condemned, then it means it needs to go in the garbage. And if it's rejected, that means it needs to be repaired. So you really don't want to repair a tank because the price of it would be way more than a new tank. Because there's nobody that can repair a tank unless they're licensed by the Bureau of Explosives. AmeriGas can't do it. And they won't do it. The manufacturer can do it. So why would you send back for $70? Why would you go through all that trouble of having that old tank rebuilt? Not unless you had some fond affection for it. But so you got to keep them clean. You got to inspect these tanks all the time. They can be rejected. We're supposed to, when we fill tanks, we're supposed to be checking these tanks out. We're supposed to be checking the date. We're supposed to be checking the welds, looking for dents, checking out the joint beat here, the base, making sure there's no scratches, no dents, no rust. And if there is, we can refuse to have it filled. We can refuse it.
You said 12 years on those tanks.
Yeah.
What is it on an RV?
And we went through that, and we could not find an expiration date on one of those.
Really?
They just rust.
Yeah, I understand that.
We just replaced one not too long ago in 2005. Thing was gone. I mean, it was totally rusted out. So. Yeah, basically, when you take a look at your tank, you should be doing this stuff every year in the springtime. Take a look at the tanks, make sure that they're good and clean. Make sure that try and keep them protected so that there's no that you're not denting them. You see a scratch in them, wire brush it. Get some Rust-Oleum. Prime it, paint it. Keep them nice and fresh. Make them look good, so that way, the better they look, the chances of having no problems when you get them filled. Especially if you know the tank is old, if it's 10 years or so.
Is that label have to be on the tank?
Which one?
The big one on the
The
back?
big one on the back? It's supposed to be. However, yeah, over years, that thing's going to come off. There's no doubt about it.
Yes. You buy those separately?
I think that label has to be on there when it is sold. Because it gives you all the warnings about what not to do. One thing too, if this tank is ever punctured, it will not explode unless there's an open fire source. You go on YouTube, you can just look up idiots shooting tanks with guns, and you'll see that they shoot them, they puncture them, and the gas comes out, and that's it. The only way they get some fire out of them, they tie a rag to them and light the rag on fire, and then they shoot them. But yeah, they don't explode. So in case you're cleaning your gun at the campsite and forget to unload it, shoot the tank. Don't worry. Unless you're using tracer bullets.
Yeah.